How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffled Rowlet, and welcome back to a brand new Pokemon countdown video to Pokemon Legends Z-A. These are daily videos where we go through Pokemon leaks, rumors, and everything in between. Starting things off today, guys, we have this right here. Now, this post was made by somebody on 4chan, which included two specific images. Now, these images are, well, very, very odd. But the first image right here is this one, and it shows the map from Pokemon Legends Z-A's trailer. You guys may remember this one. I actually covered this already. But it basically shows, like, this, you know, I don't even know what to refer to it as, like, the actual map of the location, right? You guys can see it's the same map from right here. So it's like this exact same map. The only difference between this map and that one is that this one doesn't have that, like, kind of gray or brown border on the sides. That's been removed, and instead they've kind of made it look like a little bit more clean, a little bit more crisp. And then what they have here is a mission and request thingy, and then choose destination, and then you have these 5 spots all around the map with different sized squares. Now, that's a bit odd, but this is supposed to be, quote-unquote, them trying to show that, hey, we have access to the game already. And literally, the message they had with this was literally just the word uploading. Like, it's the only word that's included with this. There's no other information with this post. Like, nothing else is included here besides that one little tidbit of actual information. Like, that's the only thing we actually see. There's nothing else. Looking through the rest of the post, I don't really see anything else. There's not really much else posted. It's literally it. Like, that is literally it. I don't really think there's much else to show you. There are occasionally a few other images included, but for the most part, it's not really a lot happening, guys. I'll be honest with you. And I'll show the other images too. There are a few more, but we're going to go through those as we go through the video. Now, starting off with this one first, how do you all feel about this one? Now, for me personally, I don't really know, man. There's not really much that I can learn from this. Not really much that I get from this. It's just, it's kind of whatever. It's just like a picture of the, I guess, map. And I highly doubt that this is what the actual map would look like. Like, I highly doubt this is genuinely what the map will look like in the game. Like, I don't think this is realistically gonna be the representation of it. This is just from the trailer. And then the other thing, though, that's included is this picture. And I'm gonna talk about this picture a little bit more because this is the actual only image here that I think looks a little bit on the side of legitimate, because I couldn't find it anywhere on the internet. If you guys actually know where this is from, if it's already an existing image, let me know. But as of right now, I haven't seen actually anything about this image. But moving back to the actual post here, it seems like what he's trying to show here is that once you click on one of these, it zooms in and kind of focuses on one location. So in this case, if they've clicked, like, you know, the left one, the right one, or the middle one for, I guess, like, you know, for Lumio's Tower, it would actually show something like this. Or this is something totally unrelated. I don't really know. But what we see on these images, starting up with this one, is, you know, 5 different colors, right? You got like a cyan blue, you got a purple, you got a kind of darkish purplish blue, a green, a red, and a yellow included there, which all together combine to make 5 different locations. Now, we all speculate that these 5 locations will be related to either option A, gyms, right? These will be locations we go to where we do gym challenges of sorts, or something along those lines, like a gym challenge or something like that. The other option besides gym battles or any sort of challenge like that would be that these locations will be going where we go to take on terrariums that feature a bunch of Pokemon. Because remember, this game is set entirely within Lumio City. If you actually go to the website here and you look at what they say, a new adventure awaits within Lumio City. And again, there was a whole tweet from, again, Nintendo that said the whole game takes place within Lumio City. So just based off of that, we can already determine that, you know, these places will be important. Like, these 5 locations will be important. So the theory is either those are where we go to do, like, if, for example, like the alpha battles. If you guys remember the alpha Pokemon from Legends Arceus, either something like that, or option B, the other option, is that instead what we're going to do there is take on battles against, rather that we're going to go there to find terrariums, big locations that feature a bunch of varieties of Pokemon above ground or underground, either one of those two. And we're going to specifically go there to capture them. So that's like one of the theories, at least for these 5 locations. And here they colored them different colors, which feels to imply more that this would be challenges against different types of Pokemon, trainers, leaders, whatever you want to call it. Somebody important is going to be found in each one of these locations. A red one for possibly fire, a blue one possibly for, I guess, water, yellow one electric, green one grass, and then the purple one could be for, like, ghosts or something like that. At least that's the vibe that I'm getting from this. But I'm going to be real, again, if we even zoom into this image, like, even these squares, like, if you actually look at the actual squares, I don't know, man. It's like they're kind of bleeding out, like some of the colors bleed out a little bit on the side. That gives me this feeling like, nah, there's no way this could be real. Like, again, there is a high chance it could be. There's always a chance. And that's like where I want to leave this at as an important factor. This could be early. Like, listen, I talked about this in my last video, and I covered this in the last video where I spoke about like this one image of like a character from Unova, like the main character from Unova that you play as, and it was like a city area, whatever, and we were like talking about it. It looked like it was like from a slide, and what I'm gonna say about this is something important. These images may not actually be from proper gameplay, but they could be from presentations and or investors meeting images. Like, this could be images being shown to investors to ensure them that, hey, we're making a good product. This is some of the details on what the game is going to be like. This is what we're working on. This is our estimated, like, you know, sales numbers, etc., etc., etc. Just a way to encourage, like, investors and people who are spending money to keep this company afloat and keep these guys, like, you know, like, keep the investments flowing, right? Keep the money coming in. It might just be a way for them to know that that's happening, which takes us to the second image, right? Now, the second image is more interesting to me. First of all, this is a really good drawing. It's very much in that Sugimori style with the lines. The lines have a very Sugimori-esque feeling to it. And also, it splits the city in two. One side looks like it's from the past. The other side looks like it's more futuristic, as it's all made in this kind of neon style, which mimics exactly what happens in the trailer. If we replay the trailer, it's the exact same thing that happens here, guys, right? We have this sketch of one version of the city that looks a little bit older, and then it all turns into like this literal version of the city that's like neon, you know, and everything looks like it's set in the future, and the middle part of the trailer is all in this style, and then it goes back, right? It goes from this map back to the original plan, which again has this 4x3, literal 4x3 format of the trailer, which again gives me more of a feeling that this is supposed to be some kind of important, like, you know, time travel thing, right? Like, that's kind of the vibe. I'm going to talk about how time travel and reversal of time could be present in this game based on the trailer already. We're going to talk about that in a bit, though. But talking about this image, the first thing that I notice is that it's split in two. That's obvious. The second thing I notice is that the right side has a bunch of these dots that are highlighting possibly Pokemon or humans and people and just objects in this side of the world. This side is empty, though. It's just grass and there's nothing being shown, and that's because maybe the original version, like, think about it, the Pokédex didn't exist in Legends Arceus, so you had no way to digitally register where, what, and who is, right? And whereas in the future, logically, they would have a Pokédex, they would have a way to locate every Pokemon, to see everybody that's going around in the city, because they'd have like sensors, cameras, etc. They'll be able to locate things in some sort of way and shape. And I think this image is honestly the only image I've seen so far. Out of any rumor, leak, anything, this is the only image that feels realistic to me. Like, out of everything else that looks like BS, this is the only image I've seen that genuinely gives me this feeling of like, huh, this could actually be real. This could be something valuable to look at. It's really weird. I know it's maybe a bit weird to say, but I genuinely think this is the only image I've seen that genuinely looks like it could hold some value. Like, it could hold some interesting secrets in it. And again, the only thing that brings it down is the fact that the UI, the actual user interface here that they're using in this image, is the one from Pokemon Legends Arceus. Like, that's the only thing that makes this look a little bit more on the fake side, but this image is where everything just clicks a bit better. Like, imagine this game, logically, based on the trailer, gives off a vibe that it's a game that's set in the past and the future at the same time. We gotta get a bit of past, a bit of future mixed together into one. That's the vibe I get from the trailer. Again, keep in mind, guys, watch the trailer over again, and the first thing you'll notice is we start in this 4x3 format, right? 4x3. Everything looks old school. Even the logo here of Team Quasar in the top right there, even the logo looks like more old school. It's yellow, right? It looks old. And then here, right, the actual sketch is drawn up with actual hand paper. Like, this is drawn on old paper, right? These are sketches, architectural sketches of what the buildings and everything looks like, and ideas of what the city, the ideal idea of what it's going to look like. And here, it's turned digital because a special group, Team Quasar, whoever like this logo belongs to, these people, they put it into action and you know, actually build this future version of the city, the ideal version of Lumio City is eventually built. That's at least the vibe I'm getting from this. And again, here, the biggest thing is we see throughout the trailer, we see fletchling, right? It starts as a Talonflame in the beginning. We start as a Talonflame here, flying by, and guess what? It switches from a Talonflame, slowly, it goes down from a Talonflame to a Fletchinder, actually, I think a Fletchling, and then a Fletchinder. It's really weird, but, like, it literally goes backwards. Like, the Pokemon literally de-evolves throughout, which gives me this feeling of, are we going to start in the future and we need to learn, like, what happened? How was Lumio City put together by this organization? So we're going to have to travel back in time. That would make total sense to me. Like, that actually makes sense. And somehow this image perfectly represents that. Like, this actually perfectly represents that. Like, this is literally exactly what I feel like when I see this. Like, straight up. Like, this is actually crazy. It perfectly represents this concept of past and future to me. Like, that's literally what this image gives me. Like, oh, we have this ideal futuristic version of Lumios, and then this past version that, like, you know, mimics it. Like, I don't know. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty crazy. But that's at least where I'm at with this. And I don't know. I want to know what you guys think about it. And honestly, it's a really cool drawing. Even if it's fake, shout out to whoever made this, because this is a really good-looking image. Like, it's a really good-looking drawing. It looks like something that would be in a Pokemon art book, right? Like in an official art book for Pokemon, you know, I would expect to see something like this. Like, it genuinely looks really good. It actually looks like something like out of a Pokemon. Like, let's look up artwork Pokemon X and Y. Like, let's see, art book. Like, I'm gonna have to search up legitimately art book. Here we go. So if we look up an art book of Pokemon X and Y, right? And we look up some of the stuff that can be found in there, inside, like the actual drawings and stuff. Let's see if we can find some of them. So it kind of looks like, you know, like these. Like, you guys know these concept arts, right, that exist within Pokemon. And I think the best way is to, like, look this up. Pokemon X and Y concept art, right? Something like that. So if you search that up, Pokemon X and Y concept art, you guys will see stuff like this, right? Like these sketches and IDs that they have, right? Of, like, the characters and the cities and everything. Like, it really gives off that exact vibe, and it looks really cool. But again, people can fake that. That's very easily fakeable. It's very easy for them to, like, just fake it and make something like that. It's not an impossibility. Anybody could technically do it, but again, it gives me that feeling like maybe this is supposed to be some kind of early image, some sort of early concept art to show off to investors, to people that are involved in the background, or maybe just literally concept art, like just concept art early on. That's the feeling I'm getting from this. Like, it really gives me that kind of vibe. And that's where I'm at right now with my feelings on this. I think it could be real. I digress, though. It could also be fake, but I don't know. Something about this. There's a different feeling to this than any of our previous posts we've taken a look at. Like, there's something different about this than any previous things we've actually seen. Like, it's something about it is different. Like, something about it feels a bit different, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. It feels a little bit, something about this feels a bit odd, and I'm wondering what it could be. Like, I'm trying to figure it out. So, we're going to take a look at some of the other images, because there are a few more images towards the bottom that aren't included in the main post, but there are a few images. First one is this one right here. Now, this is a bit of an odd image. So if we zoom into this one and break it all down, the first thing you'll notice is that what we have here is seemingly a weird version of Banette, I think. At least that's the vibe I'm getting. We have a little airplane on the left side. Then we have this, like, weird, like I don't even know, these cups with something that looks like mini versions of Shuppets, which kind of look like they're AI generated, I'm not going to lie. And then this weird-looking Shuppet, like, 3D art with a human character, regular human character in the bottom left. Again, this could be AI generated, for all I know. That's literally what it could be. Like, literally, we've seen crazier stuff in the past. They've done crazier stuff. But this could also be, like, literally a concept art for a new Mega, for a possible new, you know, like Mega. Or, like, I'm saying, wait, I said Banette, but is it even a Banette? Is it a Sableye? I don't even know what this is, man. Is it a Sableye? I think it's a Sableye. I said Banette, but I guess it looks more like a Sableye, actually. Or like a Sableye Banette fusion. Like, let's see. So, like, look up Sableye, right? Like, it has the colors of Sableye, but it has the, but it has, like, the mouth of Banette. It kind of, like, it's a weird one. And, like, this is the only image that makes me think this all could be fake, is this one image, because the other images actually look more cool. So, bottom on here, you actually have a human character just chilling there. Again, it's the only image that gives me this feeling of, like, this could be fake, or this could just be a concept art, keep that in mind. But the other two images are really, like, actually look more interesting to me. The first one is this one right here. Now, this image, this is the one that made me think like, oh, yo, could this be real? Could this actually be real? So what we see right here is, again, a concept art. Like, this is, again, like, fits perfectly in with Pokemon concept art. So we look up Pokemon concept art. We just search it up, and you will instantly notice that, like, it fits right in with, like, those concept arts, like, you know, we've had in the past, like, real ones. It really fits in with real concept arts where they kind of draw ideas of what they kind of, you know, imagine things should look like. So let me see if I can find you guys a good example. So here, for example, is the concept art of none else than Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, right? You guys can see they have these little small drawings where they kind of draw the characters doing little animations and stuff. And sometimes, I think for Pokemon Sun and Moon, let's see, Pokemon Sun and Moon concept art, I think is the best one to show you, because that one, we have this specific concept art that shows Trainer Red, I think, kind of standing in the distance, and I think that's the one I want to show you to kind of point out what I mean here, because if I can find it, because it's an old concept art, and I don't even know if they really even have it anymore. Like, I have no idea if it's still even available anywhere, but I want to be able to find it to show you guys what I'm referring to, because it is a cool concept art, and I think they showed that concept art off in one of the trailers. I think the original trailer reveal for Pokemon Sun and Moon. But here, for example, here's like a picture of like some of the concept art that you see in actual Pokemon, right? Like, so up here, we have the Sun and Moon concept art. You guys can see it right here, what it looks like. This was from, I think, Oras, as far as I'm aware. I think this was Oras. I could be wrong, but this is an interior concept design. And here you guys can see some of the actual art they sometimes do. Sometimes they do, like, little doodles and stuff. Like, sometimes it'll be, you know, like something like this from Sun and Moon. And I think the best one is this one right here. So this is the one that I was referring to. Now, this is a perfect example. This is a real art, by the way. This is an actual artwork that showed Trainer Red in the bottom right with, I forget what her name is, Lily, I think, right? Is right there on that same image. So if you look at this image, like, let's just scroll through here until we find, like, everything, right? Because this is all concept arts from the actual trailer. And again, this image is the best one as an example. Notice how it's, like, a concept art of, like, the hotel, of, like, you know, the outside, a few characters. That's the same feeling I get from this. Because what do we see here? Well, we see a drawing of, oh, what about, like, the alleys, right? Because people were talking about, like, oh, how are they going to fit all the Pokemon into a game like this? Like, how do you fit in all these Pokemon from Kalos? Because Kalos has one of the biggest Pokedexes of all time, by the way. Like, one of the largest Pokedexes in any Pokemon game. So it's a massive Pokedex. So a lot of people wondered to themselves, like, how are you going to fit all of that into one city? Well, do stuff like this. Grimer and Pokemon like that are poison types could all be chilling in, like, the sewers and stuff like that. And maybe, again, keep in mind, if this is concept art, it's just a concept. It doesn't mean that they're actually going to make this. It's just a concept, an ID. And right on the left side, that's exactly what we see. We see a Grimer coming out of the actual manhole cover with a bunch of poisonous stuff in, like, the sewers and just green goo everywhere. Again, giving that exact same vibe as you would expect from a game like this, but also a shadow of a Pokemon. You can actually see a shadow of a Pokemon. It looks like Gengar or something, probably scaring the guy so he freaks out. And maybe that's something they could do. Another thing we see on the right side is the entrance to a building with a almost 3D, like, I know this is not 3D, it's all in 2D, but the way that this Meowth is drawn is almost in, like, a 3D shape. It almost looks like the Pokemon home model of it right there with a human character facing it. And this, again, the style we see here, the art style, very much looks like the official Pokemon style. This looks oddly similar to that. Like, it reminds me more of that than anything else. But it doesn't end there. There is another image that does exactly this as well. And this image is an actual crazy one. So this one shows a Mega Charizard. Now, this Mega Charizard is where I lost a little bit of faith, because this Mega Charizard doesn't really look like in that style that they would do. It looks more fan-made, or, you know, kind of like more fan-made-ish. But the rest of the stuff here, like, we see a Pokemon right there that looks like a Furfrou, I think, running away, with the trainer freaking out, running away with it, with, of course, the Pokemon trainer in the bottom left here. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse cursor or not, but basically the Pokemon character in the bottom here is, like, facing off against this Charizard X as it's kind of burning everything around it. So this could be a concept art for a scenario that would take place within the actual city of Lumiose while we are there. Because, again, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening in that city while we're exploring it. So there's a lot of possibilities for what we could expect to see, you know, actually happening. Now, Looking through the rest of the post, I haven't seen any more images being posted by this person. I think the only other image that I've seen was like some kind of concept art, but I don't know if it's from the same person who made, you know, previous artworks. Like, I don't actually know if he made this one too, but there is one of like AZ. And again, I don't know if this one's real. This doesn't look real to me. It looks a bit more on that fake side, if I'm going to be real with you guys. It looks a little bit more unrealistic, but again, I wanted to just show it anyways, because I don't know if this is, I don't know who drew this. I don't know if this was drawn by, or if this was drawn by a random person, or if this was posted by the same poster. Like, I don't know if the same person who posted all of this is the same person who posted this. That I don't know. But all of these are posted by the same individual, right? All of these are by the same person. This is the only one that I'm a little bit like, why is this one like 3D and everything else on the image is kind of like 2D, like, you know, drawn and stuff? And then, like, you know, why does it look like that? Like, everything else here looks pretty crazy. I'm gonna be honest. Everything else looks pretty nuts. Looks pretty cool. And also, what could this text mean? Now, Pokemon, this is Pokemon language, and Pokemon language doesn't have any consistency in it. It actually flips and flops whatever way it wants to. It never stays consistent. It always goes up and down. But I'm curious again. Guys, I'm gonna be real. I'm excited for posts like this. This is the kind of shit that I enjoy. I like it when they go out of their way to make cool stuff like this. Even if this is fake, thank you for at least giving me some stuff to speculate about, because this image right here makes me like believe in the concept of like, oh my god, they could literally set half the city into the past, half the city in the future. Or, oh, the city can be set in both time frames, and we time travel between the two versions to complete different quests or catch different Pokemon. It's genius. It would work perfectly. It would be such a good concept to pull off in a Pokemon game. Like, I'm totally on board for it. So, again, even if this isn't real, I like the idea of it. Now, the biggest thing that's a dead giveaway to me that it's probably fake is this post right here. Now, this is the dumbest one to me, because I feel like if they hadn't included this image, I feel like I would have believed it more if it was just this image. But this one kind of kills it for me. This one is also a little bit like iffy. It just looks BS to me. It looks like it looks like a Banette mixed with a Sableye, and I don't know what's going on. It looks like a weird Banette, man. Unless it is a new form of Banette. Maybe it's a new Mega Banette. I don't know. Or a different version of it, or whatever. Like, again, I don't know. And also, these weird little looking like alien Shuppets. Unless the game is going to be following... And also, the thing I noticed is this little airplane. Is this supposed to be like a room, like a playroom sort of thing? Like, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. It's like a playroom with, like, you know, toys and stuff in it. And maybe Banette, because Banette is a doll at the end of the day of sorts, right? It is a children's doll. Maybe there's a new form of it that's we're going to be going up against. That's going to be some sort of new Mega. Like, they could do that. Like, at the end of the day, they could do whatever they want. They could literally change these things into whatever direction they want to do. Like, nothing is stopping them. They own this franchise. They can do whatever they want with it, man. They have the full ability to do whatever they want and go in whatever direction you can imagine. And speaking of which, by the way, I was talking about how, like, if you watch the trailer, you actually see a Talonflame, which kind of de-evolves into a Fletchling. Actually, Soul pointed out that apparently, you know, Talonflame in the PLZA trailer de-evolves into a Fletchling. And I already knew this. We covered this, I think, in our second ever video on PLZA. I think we brought this up because you guys noticed it during our stream. Like, people were like, holy shit, dude, look at it. It's actually, like, de-evolving. So that's pretty crazy. But they also noticed it, like, Lumiose, jeez. I forgot Lumiose post. Jeez. For a second, I was like, wait, who again? Lumiose, right. Lumiose actually noticed it as well in one of their recent podcasts and said that, you know, in PLZA, the trailer, the de-evolves into a Fletchling at the end of the trailer. To me, this could mean three things. One, pointing to a gameplay mechanic that allows us to time travel and place or switch between both the future and the past. This is, again, the thing here. So if you watch the trailer, you'll see there is Talonflame, right? We just saw Talonflame flying by. And then when we go to the top here, it de-evolved into a Fletchinder. Like, it's no longer a Talonflame, right? It's like, see, it's a Talonflame flying. That's the one we're following. And the same one that flies up is now de-evolved. It's such a weird and specific thing. And it kind of mimics the intro to Pokemon X and Y. When we have the little Fletchling flying into the room. If you guys remember that whole thing, it actually mimics that, like, perfectly. It is so on point, man. Like, is so crazy. It's like right on point. It follows exactly that. And what he says here is, 2, it could simply represent that this game is going back into the past of Lumio City, and that's the time that the whole game is set in. So it could be that it's also, like, again, either points at the reversal of time or time traveling. That's one option. Or it's pointing to the fact that we're going to be going backwards in time to an old version of Lumiose. It's either one of those two. Or 3, it's just a fun Easter egg of the opening scene of Pokemon X and Y to make us feel nostalgic. It literally could be all of them, could be either of them. It's a lot of ways to look at this, and I don't know, man. It's interesting. Like it's really intriguing, to be honest with you all, because it can go a lot of different directions. And same thing here. Pokesutami also noticed it from a Japanese user who pointed out that, yeah, you know, you watch Talonflame, it flies away in the distance, and then when you see it closer, it's a Fletchling again, or a Fletchinder. I'm not sure which one exactly, can barely tell from the image, but again, it is an odd thing. It's a very specific little detail that's really, really specific and very easy to miss if you don't pay attention to it. But again, these images are still my biggest like thing right now. I just want the person who faked these, if they are fake, to just come out and say it already, because that would just make me happier, so I know that I'm not like here, you know, excited for nothing. But I do think it's an interesting idea that if these are real, that this could be like concept arts of things we might be able to see. Like, I wouldn't think it's too crazy to assume that they could do something like this. The only one that I don't trust is like this Charizard right here. This Banette kind of 3D model thing looking Sableye mix thing, whatever. And of course, also this, like, you know, that they decided to go for this one. This one is the easiest one to fake, because you already have the map in the game trailer, so, you know, you don't necessarily need that. And also, this image, I don't know exactly what this image is supposed to be. It is AZ, of course, but I don't think this one looks to be real. I don't know if it's posted by the same person. It does have that, like, look like it's been a picture that's been taken, so it could be that it's just BS. Or it could be part of these exact posts. But this one seems to show AZ, but he kind of looks like a villain almost. So maybe like an evil version of him. Because keep in mind, AZ is technically a good guy. And this game is called the Z-A, so it could be the evil version of him, because Zygarde is supposed to be order, and we're supposed to have a new legendary. It's supposed to be the representation of chaos, right? That's what the Z stands for. It's for Zygarde, but the A is going to be for a different Pokemon, and that A looks oddly similar to the ultimate weapon from Pokemon X and Y, which could imply, just going to say this, could imply that this thing is supposed to be some sort of, like the Chaos Pokemon, right? Because we have one, Zygarde, the ordered Pokemon, and then A, we only know it as A, could be the Chaos Pokemon, the one that's going to bring havoc to the world and bring Ragnarok upon Earth, right? Because they are based on Norse mythology, which still is a bit odd to me. But nonetheless, though, it is an interesting situation, to say the least. And I'm very curious to see where they're going to take this, because it's a lot of possibilities, man. There's a lot of things that can be done with this. But we're going to move on to another thing here, which is this post right here from, I think, Soul as well, says that he has a bit of a theory about the starters as well. That's a bit of a different one that he has. He says, alternatively, as we all know, X and Y allowed us to pick one from the Kalos starters and one from the Kanto starters, and there was always a free Torchic gift we could get too. What if they do the same with PLZA? Pick one from the mixed region starters that would Mega Evolve, pick one from the Kanto starters, but they all have regional forms, and give a free Froakie that can Mega Evolve and become Ash Greninja. Would be wild, man. If this somehow happens and Kanto starters get regional forms, and suddenly this 4chan rumor becomes alive again. This is an old 4chan post he's talking about, which said that the Atlas, and also, they're literally using my thumbnail here. You guys see the error right there? That's like literally one of my thumbnails, because I covered this a long time ago, how one of the maps seemed to be pointing at, like, I don't remember what exactly it was again, but I think it was, oh, geez, what was it actually? Was it Australia? I don't remember. But anyway, it basically said that the Atlas in Sword and Shield is the Gen 9 clue, but it's not Australia. It's going to be loosely based on Atlantis. 2 clues present in Legends Arceus: a message in a bottle on the beach, and a trident symbol in Professor's home. Legendary Pokemon are the Hands of Time duo, representing clockwise and the anti-clockwise. They can time travel between past, present, and the future, depending on the version. You either go back in time or forward to stop the legendary sinking the island when awakened. You will have ancient and future forms of Pokemon. The Kanto starters get regional evolutions, and the island is a water paradise. This is an old rumor, guys. Very old rumor, very old school at this point, but it's a fun one. It was a very fun one to read back then. So, again, I would love to know what you guys think about this. Like, what do you actually think will be the starters? Like, I think they might just go with the originals. I think they might just go with the X and Y starters, but there is a chance they will not do that, and they will go for, like, a different one, like Legends Arceus, to make sure the game feels a little bit more, I guess, unique and more like a Legends game like the previous one, so people have like a similar expectations going into it. That's at least like a one way to do it. He also made this post about specifically like, you know, like some of the other possible starters, saying Pokemon X and Y are also some of the only games where you pick from 2 starter sets, Gen 6 and 1. So if there's both regional forms and Megas and PLZA, what if we choose from 2 sets of starters again? Which is like, again, the big thing is, I think there's a chance we could be doing that. Like it's a big possibility they might go down that path and give us something along those lines. But I'd love to know what you guys think about it again. So let me know in the comment section down below, and I'd love to know what you guys have in terms of theories and stuff. And in here, we also have a little bit of a theory from Eduardo, who said that he has a bit of a few possibilities for what this like backwards kind of like de-evolving of Talonflame could mean. It says like three possibilities here. One, the redevelopment will start from the center to the outer parts of the city, which could also be this right here, you know, like it starts from like here and it spreads outwards. Could be that. Again, cool concept. Two, this is because the trailer goes from blue wireframe vision for the city to the paper drafts that start the whole process. Three, from Z to A, ending to beginning. So I guess, you know, if we start from the end and we go to the beginning of like the stuff. We start from the future and we go backwards in time to figure things out. That's another cool thing that we could do. Again, a lot of possibilities, and I just want to know where this shit might go. Like, I'm very curious to see where this might go. Moving on, we do have a nice little post here. There's a pretty big post by PLDH, and I'm actually going to talk about this post again probably soon, but I want to just quickly just go through it because he talks a little bit about like some of the ideas of what about this game. He says, a really exciting prospect with Legends games, with Pokemon Legends, was the idea of mainline Pokemon games that can experiment a lot more with the setting, style, and mechanics. I'm really stoked to see what they're following for Legends Arceus with such a wild card reveal. He says, as people debated Unova IDs, I was hoping PLA was a template for something different, a game that takes place entirely within an urban environment. PLA's mechanic were very closely tied to its setting, and different regions provide different calls. So here he's talking about the fact that, you know, a PLZA takes entirely place in Lumio City. So if PLA is like a Safari Zone X Monster Hunter, I was hoping a Unova game would come up with the gameplay focused on its defining city environment. Instead, we got Kalos. But these snippets suggest a game where the goals are similarly driven by unique attributes of the setting. So of course, if you guys remember, the trailer that showed off, you know, Legends Arceus showed us the city, showed us like an old past city, whereas here we get drawings of a more modern looking, like, I mean, this looks a little bit more old school, like it's very traditional French, you know, architecture. But, you know, it gives it a little bit of a more modern take on stuff. Like, this is way more old school. It's way more old school. This feels more like, you know, not modern as in like, you know, futuristic. It looks more modern, you know, like 1900s, so 2000s, right? Era-esque design more so. Like between like between 1850 and like 1950. So like the 100-year space between there. And he says also that Pokemon Legends Z-A's official blurb describes the game's goal as shaping the city into a place that belongs to both people and Pokemon. And the logo connects a more industrial and a more sci-fi look, the Z, to a natural one with A. Maybe the goal is to bring the Pokemon spawns into the city, which, yes, that would make total sense. The urban focus also makes sense given that Kalos was defined by its Mega Evolution, which are tied to trainers. PLA shifted the emphasis away from trainer battles to surveying and battling wild Pokemon. It makes sense for Legends Z-A to focus on trainer battles more in comparison, which is true. It's an interesting way to look at it, and I want to talk about this exact post a little bit later at some point and go through it again. Before we continue, though, I want to just ask you guys, if you guys want to get a double upload today, if you want a second video later tonight, please drop a like down below. Let's try to get to 700 likes on this video. If we get 700 today, you'll get a double upload today. If we don't hit the goal, it's fine. We'll do another video tomorrow covering the thing I would upload today otherwise. But yeah, if it hits 700 likes, we'll do that. But before we finishing anything off, guys, I want to go back again to this. So let's go through all these things again. Again, looking through the post, I don't think, you know, like, I don't think I've seen anything else necessarily that's been missed. Like, I don't think I've missed anything, and I don't really know what else to talk about. But basically what we have here from this person is the following images. And this is the order of which they were posted, right? The first image was this one, right? This is, again, just a UI image of gameplay. The next image was this one. This is a concept art of the city with a past and a future theme, with the wireframe and the kind of like Tron Legacies looking design to it. The second image that came out, the next image, was this one. Now, this image seems to show what looks to me like a Mega Banette, like a Shuppet. Like, I don't even know what this is supposed to be. Like, I see Shuppets down here. I see weird little Shuppets. But, like, what is this Mega Banette thing? Like, it looks so odd, man. Like, what does Mega Banette actually look like? Like, Mega Banette looks different than this. It looks like this is like Mega Banette for you, right? It looks like standard Mega Banette. Like, it looks way more different than whatever this thing is. It looks way different. The next image after that was actually this image. This was the image that followed that one. And I think with this image is the Charizard is the only thing that feels a bit off to me. the concept style art of it doesn't look like the one you would expect from a Pokemon one, from a Pokemon artist. It looks a little bit too clean, almost. Whereas this one way more looks like something from Pokemon. Like, this looks way more like I would expect from Pokemon. This was the image after that one. This is all posted by the same guy. And also for their actual names of these images, there's actually names for each of them. Now, the first image is called city_map.jpg. The second image is called tower.jpg. So maybe it's going to be something we're going to be doing in Lumio's tower itself. Maybe something of importance will be located there. Frankly, I don't know, but there is something going on there. Next up is the image of Bennett, and this one is just called bossfight.jpg. So it's possible this is supposed to be some kind of boss battle where we're going to take on inside of these like actual locations in the middle here. Maybe that's what this like purple one's supposed to be. The purple one down here maybe is supposed to be this Mega Bennett, like new version of Mega Bennett. Because again, they can do anything. They can decide to be like, hey, we're going to rework the Megas. We're going to make new versions of the Megas or different IDs of the Megas or fusions of the Megas. Like, who knows? Basically, what I'm trying to say is they can do whatever they want. And this one is called bossfight.jpg. So this is supposed to be a boss battle, which is cool and all. But moving on, though, we have the next post. And this one is just referred to as Charizard_mega.jpg. That's the only thing we know about this one. There's not much else going on with it. There's just some burning. We can see the Charizard X is kind of pissed off and burning shit on the sides. That's pretty much all we see from this one. The next image, though, is this one right here. And this one's just called back.jpg. So back alley, is that what it's supposed to be? I don't really know. Haven't really seen much else about this one. But again, the thing with this one is the Meowth looks perfectly similar to the one from Pokemon Home. The character looks like realistic to a Pokemon concept art character. The Grimer looks kind of interesting down here. It's a concept art of like a back alley of sorts. So again, that also looks, you know, pretty cool. And it's only concept art, so at the end of the day, it's not like it's revealing anything, even if it was real. Like, it's not like we have the game revealed, but the artwork does look pretty good, and the IDs look pretty interesting. Finishing things off, we have this image right here, which is az1.jpg. That's the only thing we have here. We have a picture, of course, of Lysander on the bottom here, and of course, we have AZ in the middle, just chilling, vibing, and looking like he's about to crack open a cold one and you know, end a few floettes. But basically, it's just, you know, I don't know, man. It's fun to be back with these, man. It's fun with these fake leaks, even if they are fake. It's fun to be kind of talking about them again because they bring back an interesting kind of premise for like what we could expect. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's a bit odd, man. I don't know. It's a bit of an odd one. But there's also another post from the person here, which includes the logo from Team Quasar, or we call them Team Quasar for now, but the Quasar organization, the people that are basically involved with this redevelopment of the region, because their logo is on the drawings of the sketches of the city and everything. Like, they're the main group involved with rebuilding the city and redeveloping it. And somebody included a post here just saying that, you know, I do believe that the Lumio City will be having some VR sections like in Team Flare's HQ. Perhaps that was this construction firm's operations base, which could be the case. That could be what's going on right here. That literally could be the case. But again, this is probably the most interesting post I've seen. And again, it reminds me of, like, specifically, I want to say, like, I don't even know what to call it, but it reminds me specifically of that 4chan post we saw of like an early, I don't even know what to call it, like an early version preview thing. Like, it kind of reminds me of some of those stuff that we've already seen. So we go look up 4chan Pokemon leak. The first things we will see is just going to be like regular posts, but I want to just see if I can find for you guys and show you that image we saw, because again, it's an interesting image. It's just like shows almost like some kind of gameplay, but it's with black and white characters. And again, it's like a little bit iffy, to say the least. Like, it's a little bit iffy. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. And keep in mind, these rumors can be real, guys. Because there are 4chan posts that predicted stuff and were real. Like, for example, here's an actual post that was real for Sword and Shield. So if you guys take a look at this image right here. So this image was from a random poster on 4chan who said, screen cap this, legit. And then it was from Anonymous, and this is posted on the 21st of February, 2019. This is like 6 days before Pokemon Day. And he said, this is it. Believe it now or later. Pokemon Sword and Shield. Region is Great Britain. Legendary Pokemon, a Metal Snake and Wooden Horse. Those parts ended up being fake. Armored Evolutions ended up not being real. Armored Charizard, Armored Mewtwo, Armored Flygon, Armored Zeraora ended up not being real. Meltan ties into the Armored Evolution and Legendary lore. So, like, some of this stuff was actually real, whereas the rest of it was fake. Point is, there's always a chance some people might guess some stuff correctly, but I love it when people just create shit, and it's more interesting that way. So I want to know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. Your thoughts and opinions would be appreciated because, again, I like talking about these things. If you guys don't want to watch these videos, you don't have to. It's not necessary. You don't need to watch these. It's just, at the end of the day, something I want to cover. And also, this is just something to keep us hyped, guys. We have a year plus, okay? We have over a year. It's only been a week since this game was announced. We still have a year to go, okay? Many more weeks, many more days of waiting, of suffering, and just, oh geez, I am not excited for the long wait that we're in for. But at least I'll be keeping you guys updated with anything that does happen, any rumors, any leaks, anything that happens. I will be updating you daily. And also, guys, leave a like down below. If we can get, like I said, to 700 likes, I will be doing another video going through some other stuff that I think is interesting to cover, specifically about Team Quasar. So I'll see you guys in that one. Peace out, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.